at a very young age, going through a lot of adversity, being a female in a highly masculine dominated sport allowed me to grow a lot of thick skin.
Megan Jarvis, a pro athlete, ninja warrior, entrepreneur, businesswoman. What did you have to fight internally to push yourself to be that?
Well, courage in general, I think, is something that we're really looking for more of in society.
It's easy for people to go, I can't because I'm not like that.
Well, of course you can do it. That's you, Meg. I've been burned and, crucified.
What do you have to really do in the depths of you to be in that place?
It involves having like a breakdown to a breakthrough.
So how did that breakdown look for you?
Oh,
Take us there. Megan Jarvis, welcome to the Tomorrow Is Not Today podcast. I'm so excited to have you here for many reasons, which we're going to get into. I don't normally do this, but because normally I'll just get you to introduce yourself.
yep.
But I'm wanting to do a couple of intro things because I reckon there's probably some stuff that you would miss out if I was just to leave it to you. So
Touché.
put the glasses on so we
All
can actually
right.
see this. Megan Jarvis, a pro athlete, ninja warrior, entrepreneur, businesswoman, published fitness writer, author, stunt woman, radio personality, etc., and professional basketballer as well, and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know how you do all of that to start with. B, can you tell us a little bit more about who you are?
Yes, absolutely. And we'll be diving deep today, I've heard. So
Oh, yes, we will.
I'll start with the surface level things of who I am, I guess, and then go from there. But that was a perfect intro. I'll take you back to the BMX because that's where I started, being a tomboy with almost as good of hair as you have today, Kingsley. So
Short and grey?
short, very short, and a bowl cut. And that's where my humble beginnings was competing against the boys and having to not just compete against them, but win by, 5 bikes in front to get noticed in order to make the Canadian national team, which I went on to become the Canadian national champion at 5. And that's really where my story began is at a very young age, going through a lot of adversity, being a female in a highly masculine dominated sport, and allowed me to grow a lot of thick skin. I also, beyond basketball, loved ice hockey. So I was one of the ice hockey players that growing up at the age of 10, we didn't have a female change room, so I would get changed in the janitor's closet and just go as hard as I could. And again, I was the only girl in the league until I got a bit older. There was one other girl playing ice hockey. So understood that it's okay to lead change, even though I wasn't conscious to it. And I think that led to what you just read out later on in life and not having any fear of what other people thought. And I feel like that's probably the underlying key that we're going to get really deep into today is at a very young age, I learned and mastered the art of not giving a fuck or not caring what other people thought of me and just going for it. No matter what other people were saying, if it felt right to me, if my parents were in full support, I went against the grain and really pushed the boundaries and have been continuing to do that ever since and continue to do that in business today.
You definitely do. You definitely do. Since the time I've known you and watched you, it's just nonstop. And you do keep pushing the boundaries and going further. It's almost like you're unstoppable. But take me back, because what you just said, I think you made some really good points in there. Well, obviously you did. But
that's
a
okay.
couple of the points were, it was those tough times, it seems like, at the beginning where you were pushed, like male-dominated sports, and you had to be one of the best, or not just one of the best, you had to go right out there even to be recognized because you were a girl. Is that part of what built you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was the ingrained DNA that I've been able to carry in my entrepreneurial journey. And looking at it in a different lens, it really set me up with this courage And I mean, a lot of people talk about this. At a recent conference that we were together, I brought up Charlie Kirk, and I know it's a very taboo topic, but courage is one of the things that he often spoke of. And courageous people, courage in general, I think is something that we're really looking for more of in society. And so looking back, I was able to find courage in myself at a really young age. And although I've been burned and, crucified and then had to get back up a million times, which we'll get to go into some awesome parts of the journey and normalize those things today so that people can feel comfortable about failing forward and getting back up and knowing that there's a huge lag, as I like to say, or plateau in the journey to becoming unstoppable or getting to the top. I think it's really about finding the courage within yourself. And if you're able to find that courage that you had early on, but when we're younger, we're playful. There's no expectations. No one's putting pressure on us. And we're also not feeling the expectations of others of what we want to do for others. As we get older, we start to have this model, as you know, and you and I have talked about this before, where we start to do things for what other people want us to do or what other people think would be right. And we all often judge ourselves based on that instead of going back into what we truly believe and what we love and having that courage to do that at the base level. So I feel like if we're able to go deep into where we started and where that courage was when we were younger, pull that root out. And I always say this, like, you can't just do it once. I do have to do it every morning before I come into this podcast. I've got this. Go, Megan. Let's go. Be yourself. Be your true, authentic person throughout the entire chat today, because that's what people really want to hear.
Yeah.
Brene Brown it. I know that's probably not an adjective, but I'm going to come up with it and describe people as that. Brene Brown it. If you're not in the Coliseum, don't care what other people think unless they're actually in the arena with you, and really go for it. Have the courage to do so.
You covered so much there.
Okay.
So much is it's fantastic. There's so many questions and things that are coming to mind.
Great.
Because it's interesting you said before you go anywhere, because like you speak on a lot of stages, a lot of podcasts, a lot of things like that. Before you do it, you've got to get up. You've got this, you got this,
Yes.
you can do it. But people who don't see you behind in the green rooms or before you walk on stage or whatever, all they see is Megan out on stage who's got it together, who's motivated, is excited, and it's all happening.
Yeah.
And then I relate that then back to, we look at social media.
Yeah.
And all we see on social media is the highlight reels, the good points and things like that. But people don't notice what actually goes through your mind and your body and your emotions before getting to that point. So take us through to that point where you've actually got to, because it's easy for people to go, I can't because I'm not like that.
Yep.
What do you have to really do in the depths of you to be in that place?
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's so important because I often get, well, of course you can do it. That's you, Meg. You've done this, 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 this. And then if you get pedestaled right away, people don't believe that they can do it themselves. So I really want to lay down the pedestal today. Like, although I work with some great entertainers, they're just normal people as well. Olympic athletes struggle from having courage and confidence too. It's important to know that everybody is a human being and we are all going through the things that you're probably feeling today as well. And we use I'm going to say biohacking, but that's just a fancier word because I'm in the wellness industry, that are tools that regulate your nervous system to get you steady and focused so that you stop feeling, not completely, but you get your body out of that parasympathetic nervous system where it's fight or flight. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? Drop into our sympathetic nervous system. I can do this. I'm back. And it really starts with the things that you already know, we already know. It starts with breath. Breathing is the easiest one. When you get to the stoplight, do a rounded box breathing, 4, 4, 4, 4. And relax by breathing. And then a really big recipe that people often don't discuss is tell yourself you can. I can do this. I mean, Mel Robbins, discuss doing a high five to the mirror. She wrote a book on giving yourself. That's a very simple tool, Mel, but she blew up because of it.
Yeah.
Because people need to hear, oh, Mel Robbins had to give herself a high five every morning, not just one morning, every morning, and told herself, you've got this, Mel. So I love that. I mean, we hugged today, but I often high five you. I'm a big high fiver. My dad was a high fiver. Being a pro athlete, I grew up on high fives. I'm never going to stop high fiving. If someone says you high five too much, tell them to screw off because there's no such thing. No one's getting mad about your high fives. It's elevating that person's mood. It's adding that connection point. And it's important to have yourself get in that mood of you've got it. So a high five can do it, but going back to what I do a bit of breath. I do I am statements. I am ready. I have got this. I am powerful. And I say those kind of I am statements all the time, even when I'm feeling good, but most importantly, when I'm not feeling very good. And when you do what we do and we coach people and we're meant to feel bad because we're in a coaching world where we want our clients to come to us not feeling perfect. If they were feeling perfect every day, then why do you need us to coach you on your wellness or on your different areas of business along the way? Whatever areas that you're coaching someone in, they're meant to come to you with their problems and how they're feeling that day, and you're meant to hold space. And you're meant to feel that. For me, my mom being a psychiatrist growing up, having 8 clients a day and coming home and just nailing dinner and just never, going into what she felt. I've seen how you can leave things at the door, almost just like a gate or a bridge where you take a minute in the car. You've absorbed what you've just gone through in your day, in the office, wherever you work, and you give yourself, and Brene Brown uses a beautiful example of the bridges in France where they have to fill back up for the boats to go through. And she uses that as an analogy, like you can't just rush in to see your family sometimes. Just your emotional intelligence and stability needs some time for you to fill back up again and get ready for, Mom, where are my soccer shoes? Where do you have dinner ready? What's it? And get ready for that, because we need to have that emotional regulation. So I think to normalize it and come back to your question, before anything, I do prime myself and go into, priming, which Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza use, which are priming breaths and saying some I am statements. And if you can, sprinkle a little gratitude on top, because we know that being grateful is going to really set you up and for an amazing day. And I think that's the groundwork of what you're seeing today. You're seeing somebody who does it daily, and it's that daily practice.
You could say you put in the work every day. It's not just you get up and go and do your thing. You obviously put in the work every day, and then during the day as well, you're putting in the work behind the scenes. So when you do show up, you are the person you need to be.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you say that no one sees the green room. I did post a video of me before going on a stage in front of 500 people, and it showed me priming, and some other great mentors of mine came back and said, Meg, you're never going to see me doing those breaths before I take the stage, or you're never going to. And I had to take that in and go, okay, these guys do present. They're legendary in what they do. And if they don't need that, good on them. They're very experienced at controlling their emotions and controlling where they're at in their focus at that time. But I can tell you I need it every time. And
I think everyone's different
Yes.
as well. And they may not need it there, but I'll guarantee there's other areas in life that we do need it.
Yes, true.
And that's part of the good part of life, is we are all different.
Yeah.
And we all need different things at different times and different places.
Yeah. And actually, when you say that, one of them was a amazing surgeon. So I'm guaranteeing before they go into different heart and brain surgeries. Well, I hope they're getting focused before. So
Would hope
you're
so.
right. You're right. Yes. Absolutely.
I want to go back a little bit because
Yes.
as a dad, even though my kids are grown now, but as a dad, you look at, and I look at I did some good things with my kids.
Yep.
And I did some really not good things with my kids because you
we
don't
always
know.
hold that. Yes.
And I
you
definitely
don't know
made
what
mistakes.
you don't know. Yep.
Yeah, I'm very blessed. My kids are phenomenal, absolutely amazing, and
Yeah.
just killing it in life, which is fantastic.
Well, then you've done a lot of
But-
things right there.
Well, they've
good.
looked at the bad and gone, geez, not going
I
there.
don't want it. I don't want that to happen. Yeah.
Maybe a bit of
true.
both.
Yeah, you can.
But when your kids are little, and because there's sometimes you can put too much pressure
Yes.
on certain ones,
Yeah.
and others it's good for some and not good for other kids.
Oh, yeah. I
As
love
well.
where this is heading.
So I want to, from your perspective, and with your mum being a psychologist as well, and you having a lot of pressure as a kid,
Yeah.
can you bring a little bit of, what would you say, balance or whatever to that whole scenario?
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a great question too. And being somebody who deals in epigenetics and personalized programs, and that's something that I've been bringing to the health and fitness industry for almost over a decade now. So, now that it's a bit more popularized, I can discuss it wholeheartedly. But before, when I would discuss blood tests and personalizing, everyone was like, "Oh no, we'll just go on the same fat loss program, or I'll just do keto. It's working for everyone." Or Mediterranean diets, been number one in the world for 5 years. I'll go on that. But now we understand that what works for one person is not going to work for another, and we know that 100%. And when it comes to kids, an easy one in my journey is to look at my brother, actually. And he is somebody that does not thrive on pressure and is the opposite of me. So my parents and I think my mom saw that very early on, which is great, that you're going to have some that really thrive in pressure situations and some that need to be given time and space. And that does have a lot to do. And I won't go into too much detail, but into epigenetic profiling. People that are really tall and have a tall figure, you'll often find that they take a little bit more time to make decisions. And that's just an easy base to start with. They're more of your guardians, your diplomats, very family oriented. Or if you have people that are a bit shorter in size, like you and I, that are go-getters, activators, connectors, we're like, yeah, give us the thing. We're going to go do it. You want to start a podcast? I've got it set up. I've got it ready to go on Monday. Where some people would take a lot more time to get to that point, and that's okay. And you need to know who you're speaking to when it comes to your kids and what's working and what's not. And I think we can get a good gauge, but we need to remember that you need to understand them on a deeper level. Like a lot of us get an easy gauge and they know to push their kid or they know they shouldn't, but we can get caught up in the moment and just be pushing because we think that we should. Being somebody who's really passionate about movement as medicine and, the obesity issue that we have in children right now, I'm a big advocate for, irregardless of where your kid is, we need to be getting them to do some movement. And that might include getting some pressure there to move more, to put the phones down, to get them outside instead of watching TV, like no TV time, just like when we were growing up. Go and play basketball or kick the can. I know it's hot in Australia right now. Go to the beach, swim in the pool, get out and do it with them if you can. And if not, and if you are working, enforce those things that make it more difficult to just sit and do nothing for your kids. But don't do the pushing too far that you have to play basketball and hockey and volleyball to the point that they don't love it anymore. Because sport is meant to be loved. They should want to go. Movement, on the other hand, is a necessity. So I like to really make that clear. Like movement can be sport, dance, anything. It can be walking down the street, but it is something that all of our children need to be doing. So there is a fine line of pressure and the push, and making sure that we're pushing our kids to move more, but we're not pressuring them into a sport that they don't like. And, to the point that there was the potential that they could have gone to the Olympics, but we pressured them too much at an early age that they didn't want to do it when they got older.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that because I think, as a parent, you do think about all these sorts of things. And
Yes.
usually when you've got kids, they're very different personalities. And
Yep.
what you do with one is not what you do with the other one. 'Cause
Correct.
You send them off the deed. This one will love it, and this one you'll push them away.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
really interesting.
It's interesting how we often get like the yin and yang.
Yeah.
Of
Very.
kids, and they're really quite different, like arts and dance and those sort of, and then like sport and this side, and the creative is not there, or it does happen, but we tend to kind of bracket them together at times unconsciously, and I think it's important to recognize that not all of us need the pressure, but
Yeah.
for someone like myself, pressure builds diamonds, and I love it.
Yeah. Which is cool. Which is why you are who you are today as well at the same time. So now you did the BMX. How long
Yes.
did you do that for?
Until I was 15. So I BMX'd since
That's
I
like
was
10
3
years.
years old, actually.
Since 3. Wow.
Yeah, I think I might have raised this with a previous guest of yours the other weekend, that I saw a little boy riding his bike down the street, and he had made some dirt tracks in his backyard, and I went up to my dad. So the story goes, I remember being on the bike, that's about it, and said, I want these, in whichever way I said it, training wheels off at the age of 2. And I was riding a bike at 3 over jumps, and
Wow.
still at the age of 3, 4 was like, I need to go to the track now. Like, these jumps aren't big enough. So I had some sort of interesting non-off switch of extreme sports and the love of pushing myself at a young age.
Which is obviously an innate thing, which is
Yes.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was definitely the nature rather
Yeah.
than the nurture
Yeah,
on this
yeah.
one. But my parents definitely nurtured it, which is fantastic. I'm so grateful for them for
Yeah,
that.
that's really cool. So you did that, and then you got into
Yes.
basketball.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
how did you switch from BMX to basketball?
Yeah, the transition was fun. Totally different sports,
Yeah.
and both of them involve agility, just like Australian Ninja Warrior did. So I'm always looking for things that agility is a big part of, and what I craved, and why I believe I quit BMX and went to basketball a year before BMX went to the Olympics. So that's always a great tale. But I mean, basketball brought me to Australia, so I'm so grateful for the sport. Is that I craved camaraderie. I really wanted to be a part of a team, and I feel like that's something that we can miss, or we miss out on, when we are in a singular sport, that we just compete for ourselves. So going from BMX, my choices were all sports that were team sports. I was going on to either play professional ice hockey. That was another option at university. I actually made both the ice hockey team and the university basketball team at the same time, and had to choose, and also loved soccer. So it was all of those kind of sports that you were agile or had to really work as a team. And I wanted to get into something working as a team. And I've found, coming out of that, it's helped me immensely, because I now run a team of wellness coaches across the country. And I've learned about myself that I work better with a big team. Some people get very scared of managing a big team, but bring it on. And I'm so happy that I've found what I love by doing so, and it's connecting people and really understanding what each person needs to do and needs to bring to the team.
There's a whole topic just there.
Yes, yeah.
So you worked out that you wanted to be part of a team. So what were you feeling? Because relating this back to business,
Yes.
you can be running a business, and there's so many successful business people, but they're lonely
Yeah.
and they're sad.
Yep.
Some of them, they're anxious, and they
Yes.
don't feel like they've got that camaraderie because they can't. Who are you going to talk to?
Yeah. Yep.
So what were you feeling at that point? And what made you, what was the big pivotal thing that made you choose, you know what, I'm going to get with the team?
My pivotal moment was at a Tony Robbins conference called Date with Destiny, which I went on to do all of his conferences afterwards. But even if you're listening and not a Tony Robbins fan, because a lot of people, it's kind of a love or hate with Tony, it's being with somebody that is at a higher level than you in whichever area of business that you want to get into and learning from them. And it hit me at this conference that I needed a coach, and I needed a coach to really assist me to go to that next level. And since then, I've had business coaches at every tier, and through those business coaches that a lot of them are mutual friends of ours, I've learned about how we have money ceilings. So we can get from 1 million to 2 million, 2 million to 10 million, 10 million to 20 million, and then it goes up to 40 million, then it goes up to 100 million. But each of these are ceilings that we all can hit, and they're actually very common. Like 8 out of 10 entrepreneurs hit these money ceilings and then need to learn that it is about them, not the rest of the team, to break through them. And having a coach or having somebody that really is what you mentioned, and what you do so well, Kingsley, is somebody you can bounce things off of to help you see your blind spots and understand how you can take your business to the next level. Community groups like the ones that we're involved with are fantastic as well, where you can go and meet with businesses at 7 a.m. in the morning and help assist everybody, and then go and have a coffee afterwards. But even those, I'll say this, and I've said this to anybody that I've mentored or coached, is it's not about what happens in that morning session or at a work party. It's about to be Christmas parties. And I'm sure a lot of people listening are probably already into their Christmas parties or New Year's parties. It's not about the party itself. It's about what happens afterwards. Be the last person having a coffee. Be the last person at the Christmas party. Because the way that I've gotten ahead has not been at that gathering. It's been after that gathering takes place and exchanging some really valuable information or different opportunities and clients in private circles of 2 or 3 people. And that's why you were there. It clicks.
Yeah.
But I find a lot of people go to them and then go, well, this isn't working. Why did I go to this anyways? I did what they said to do on that podcast and it still hasn't worked. It is what you make it. And that's kind of the secret sauce that people need to know.
I think that goes back to what we were saying before. What you were saying before is you're doing the work every day. You don't just go to these events just for a good time.
Yes.
Which they are, mostly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's then, so what is your intentionality that you're going to get out of that? What are you going to follow through? Who are you meeting that you can connect with and do things with? That's where all the gold is. And you know what's really interesting? You just got me thinking that when I go to these groups and the people that I do connect with and deal with later on, they are the ones who are up here in their thinking, in their operations and things as well. I'd never thought about that until just now. They are those sorts of people who are there because they're doing the same thing.
Yep.
And they're getting ahead and they're doing things and making a difference as well, because it's that whole intentionality thing.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Any light bulb moments I'll take from Kingsley. Let's go.
So take me now to, because obviously getting to these places, you don't just go, okay, I'm a BMX champion now.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump over here. I'll be a basketball champion.
Yep.
It doesn't just happen like that.
No, you're
So
right.
what did you have to do internally? What did you have to fight internally in yourself to push yourself to be that good?
Great question. I feel like every time it's peeling off another layer of the onion and it doesn't stop. So even sitting here right now, I was just on a TV show last week called The Seventh Seat that premieres, I think in January. And everyone in the room came from such diverse backgrounds and had overcome so many different adversity, and there was just amazing people in the room. But we, throughout our journeys, are consistently peeling back these layers and having to go on a call to adventure. That's a great way to explain it. That I hang up the bike. Well, I don't hang it up, but my dad puts it on the hangs it up in the garage, and it's still there, by the way, and
wow.
I still use it when I get home. So it's something that I still love and still go back to, because it is my fun, it's my joy. But transitioning from that to basketball, or transitioning from basketball to business, because that's what I went into after basketball. I became a lead lecturer at the Australian Institute of Fitness, straight out of professional sport. And had some interesting stories of business along the way in between, when I was meant to be just playing basketball. That's the other thing that I love Marilyn Monroe, and her saying is, if I obeyed all the rules, I wouldn't have gotten anywhere. So, I've heard of some other stories that you get into on this podcast. So I'll tell you one that I'm not meant to tell. And if anyone's working for the Australian government, hold on tight. This is a good one. I'm only allowed to play basketball, and I'm on a sporting visa. I'm over in WA, and a friend of mine was teaching at an English school down the street, and I had a master's of education, never taught English in my life, other than with my Aunt Jane in her grade 3 classroom. So I went down the street. She introduced me. I said, yeah, I've taught English before. I've got a great reference. You can speak to her. And he spoke, the principal there spoke to my Aunt Jane, and who has a different last name from me, which is great. So Wainwright Jarvis, no relation at all. That's my middle name, but he didn't know that. And he said, well, look, your references sound great. Why don't you get in front of, I don't have any ESL background. Why don't you get in front of the classroom for an hour? Was signed and working for them on the first day. Never taught English as a second language in my life, but now I'm a fully licensed English as a second language teacher. And I wasn't meant to do any other work at that time. I was only meant to play basketball. But I always, it was only for 2 hours a day, and it was just practice. So why would I not want to get a second job and make some money on the side, so I could go on a surf road trip or do something interesting? So that's the first thing, is I learned, even though you're not really meant to, you're still able, if you're able to, go out and make that extra money, go out and do that extra thing. Because a lot of the time, and there's a great story that I've told you about the girl from Spanx who went she went against the grain completely to get Spanx off the ground. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurship comes from stories like that, where you're going against the grain slightly, you're bending the rules slightly, but you're not breaking the law. And that's where really cool opportunities come from. So to answer your question, transitioning from this kind of business or basketball to being an entrepreneur, it involves having a breakdown to a breakthrough. And when I say that in every sense of the word. You need 3 people that you can call during these times when you're going through a tough breakdown, in order to break through to the next level.
So how did that breakdown look for you?
Oh,
take us there.
The breakdown looks, the first thing is I'm a really ugly crier. So that's what it looks like.
Yep.
It looks like a really, you would probably laugh seeing me cry, because it's almost like a half cry, half laugh. It's very odd. But
I really want people to hear this. The reason is because we often think we're the only ones, and we go through this place where we feel like we're broken. There's nothing left. Well, I've got nothing left to give. I'm just here. I'm by myself.
Yeah.
And so many people think they're like that. And so what am I going to do? There is no hope anymore.
Yeah.
Or I can see I'd like to be there, but I have no idea how. So I want to know from somebody who's been there and come back and hit the top, what it's really like for people.
Okay, so the first one is always the hardest, and it is a mix of emotions of, I'm not good enough. Why did I think I could even do this? Who am I to go for this? And everyone's going to judge me. So do not even try. Don't even put yourself out there. Don't go for that new job. Don't do that side hustle that you've dreamt of, because you're going to just get embarrassed. You're going to fail and everybody's going to laugh at you. And that's the first layer. And there's so many other layers to that. But that feeling right there is the one that stops most of us. And that's the one that really, if we can get over that first layer, things can start rolling. And
so when you say get over it, how do you get over it?
oh, I was about to answer. Yeah, mine's pretty easy, but there's so many different ways to do it. But for people like ourselves that, again, doing a quick epigenetics on us, like movement is important to both of us. Connection is important to both of us. You also strike me as somebody who needs to know the science behind it and know why you're doing it. You know, that's going to help you do it. So whatever kind of personality you are is going to be dependent on what you do in this situation. But for myself, at the very base level, it's to get over that initial hump is to move, get out of your head and go for a jog, go, even if it's go for a walk, get outside, and you'll get some sunlight. So there's the basics. I'm going to start you on the basics. It's waking up, getting some sun on you for 20 minutes, like the impact of getting sunlight and vitamin D, it's huge and we just don't use it. So it's like, get out, pull back the blinds. Even if you're not getting out, pull back the blinds. That's where I start my clients. Pull back the blinds and get some vitamin D. And then the next thing from that is getting some water and staying hydrated. A lot of us, when we're in a downward spiral, forget the basics. And I know it sounds basic, but are you drinking enough water? Are you having 2 liters a day? Probably not if you're feeling like I felt and crying all the time. And you're exhausting all your water anyways. It's going on the floor. So you need more water from these moments. And then get outside and go for a walk, go and move. And from that first one, you will be able to get back up faster. So it is about failing and getting up faster. Each time getting up faster. Each time it gets easier, but it doesn't feel like that in the moment.
Sometimes when you're at that point,
yes,
you're literally at a place where the floor is above you.
Yeah, and it just feels like you're in a coma.
And you don't know how can I, like literally getting outside
is so hard.
When you went through this sort of phase, were you bawling on your bed? Were you trying to get something happening? What was happening with you?
Oof, all right. Going really deep, and you said we would.
The real stuff.
Oh, I love it. Let me go back into it. It involved probably similar emotions to our listeners, that it is hard to get out of bed. Your energy levels are really low, and the hardest thing is getting out of bed. And it is, crying on your bed, or even when you go out wanting to just go back into the room, close the door and escape reality. And
what were you feeling at that time? Were you feeling hopeless? Were you feeling like, I can do this, but I just don't have the energy right now? Where was your mind?
It was definitely feeling hopelessness. And it wasn't just feeling I don't have the energy right now. It was feeling like I'm never going to have the energy. So it's in a darkness where you don't believe that you can continue. That's the feeling of it. It's feeling like you are not able to escape your own thoughts, and your own thoughts are keeping you paralyzed. And so I gave you kind of the biohacks, but what really helped me was calling somebody that I know, love, trust. And to no surprise, it was my mom. That helps when your mom does that for her profession. But it doesn't have to be somebody with any life skills or experience in coaching or psychology to help. It's just speaking to someone that you can say, I'm not in a good place right now. And sometimes it does take them coming over and opening up the blinds for you to get you started. But there is a momentum, and it is a snowball effect, and it does get easier and it does get better. And I can tell you, once going through it the first time, it just gets easier and easier, and you start to know your own human biology so well. And now when I can feel myself even slightly trickling back into the emotional state I just described, I'm right away catching it. So now it's about catching.
So you don't go as far down anymore. You catch
No.
it before you get there.
Yep. And I mean, being a woman and diving deep into, and it's a very hot topic right now, but it needs to be spoken about, perimenopause and menopause. It's also knowing it's okay. My hormones are trying to adjust to my body right now. And that's a huge emotional shift for everyone. Are you going to get brain fog? Are you going to get night sweats? Are you going to get irate because Kingsley didn't turn on the air conditioning before we came into this? No, I'm kidding. He did. So we're good. But, if he didn't, I could be sitting here getting really hot and flustered, and it wouldn't have been your fault, but I would have felt that anger because my hormones are going nuts in my body, and I'm trying to get used to what I'm developing into as a woman. So there's also this like beautiful science behind it, that if we have an understanding of that, then we can also go into giving ourselves empathy and letting our partner know, and letting our kids know what we're going through. Like, sorry, mom's going through this. If I get a bit more aggressive right now, that's why, and I don't mean to lash out at you. I'm dealing with a lot of different hormones in my body. And you could use pictures. You could dumb that right down. I know I'm speaking very eloquently today on the podcast, but it's important to let people know around you what you're going through so that they know it's not you always speaking that way.
I love what you've just said, and where you've gone. And I know that's probably pretty hard for you because you are a positive ball of energy. Anyone who knows you knows that's who you are.
Yes. Yeah.
So for you to go down in that place, I know is where you don't. That's not normal for you.
No, but yeah, I've been there.
But exactly, and I really appreciate you doing that because
Thank you.
it shows other people that what reality is for life for everybody, literally.
Yes.
And I think what you said earlier is to normalizing some of these things, because I know growing up, you just didn't talk about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
You don't go there. You don't talk about it. You don't mention it. It doesn't exist. La, la, la. Almost that sort of thing happens growing up. And it's good that we're starting to, hey, that's part of life. That's what happens in life in different periods of time, at different ages, whatever it is, understanding it. Because I think if we know that it's real, get a bit of understanding and then go, okay, that's what happens. What do we do? How do we work with this the best way we possibly can?
Yeah. And then we can go into solution-oriented mode, and it can start to shift.
Yeah, and not pretending that it's not there.
Yeah.
And that, I think, from today, one of the biggest things I want people to get, I think, is the fact that wherever you are, whatever's going on, it's real.
Yes.
It's real. You're not the only person.
Yep.
There are a lot of other people going through this. In saying that, there's biohacks, there's breathing, there's all sorts of different things that we can use, and phone a friend or a mum or whoever it is.
Yes, yeah.
To actually help get through there. Don't get stuck there.
Yeah. And it is about not getting stuck there. Using the Mel Robbins 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push yourself out of bed. You mentioned this earlier. Try everything. It's not a one shoe fits all approach here. I don't claim to only use one of these different wellness techniques or biohacks. I use them all depending on which situation I'm in personally. So it is, and I mean, I actually had the pleasure of speaking to Wim Hof on the weekend. Amazing guy that's really brought cold plunging and ice baths to the surface of how important these new, they're not new, old ways can be to awaken us, get us focused with our health and longevity. A lot of the research now shows women shouldn't be doing ice baths unless the temperature is over 15 to 17 degrees, whereas you could do something more at like the 3 to 5 degree level. And utilizing that to shock the body, get yourself going. Even if you don't have that ability, have a cold shower, get yourself freshened up for the morning, and start to look at how you can start moving the dial, because what you do in private comes out in public. And if you are consistent, this is why the military does it so well. They get their guys, and there's so much research around making your bed in the morning. They get the guys up to make their bed like they do one thing, they do everything. So if they're doing their bed completely neat, they always say, well, even if you have the worst day on the planet, you come home to a nice made bed. And that does make you feel good.
It does.
It's fresh sheets. It's, all of those little one percenters, I like to say, are what move the dial, and they're not discussed enough. We kind of stay in one lane and everyone has their niche. And that's what I'm really passionate about now, is that it's, I'm not just a physio. I'm not just a nutritionist. I look at the full big picture, and that's where we're stepping into. And it's wellness done well. It's not just this like facade. Like, what is wellness right now? What's a wellness coach? No one really knows. There's no definition of a wellness coach. I'd like to say it's somebody that looks at your mind, your body, your soul, your source of unconditional love, and what you're eating. It's the whole package. It's what your blue zone epigenetics are made up of, so that you can live your best life. So I think that it's important that we have these discussions about the little one percenters that can move the dial and get you out of the darkness.
Absolutely. And I think because there's so much information coming at us from so many places now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It becomes so complicated.
Yeah.
But it's like you said before, just start with some basics. Go for a walk in the sun. Make your bed.
Yes.
Drink some water.
Yes.
Start there. We can build on that.
Yep.
But just start there at least, and then keep going, because it's not hard to go for a walk in the morning.
No.
For the most part.
Yep.
It's not hard to drink water.
Yeah.
It's not hard to get.
Yep.
Tap's just there.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, fresher water is better.
Yes.
But just get some.
Yes.
Something.
Yeah.
Hydrate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. We love great water, but whichever water you're having, hydration is good. And then you just made me think of what I did in my morning walk today, which was I went and got a coffee. And they did a really interesting study about, and we were only able to do it during COVID, because in all of these different facilities and care centers, that the older adults were not able to leave and have that connection point of getting a coffee in the morning and saying hello to their coffee girl or guy. And what they did still have was connection with their family. So they were able to still have a Zoom or a FaceTime once a month, once a week with their family. And what they found was the connection point of having that every day was far more powerful in those 2 months, those 3 months, than having a family phone call once a week.
Wow.
That to Alzheimer's, dementia, all these other issues that we have with our brain function that can be highly connected with our neural pathways of connection with people. We already know if you leave someone in a room for long enough without anybody, then their brain starts to degrade quietly. It just happens. It's unfortunate. But to put it into perspective, that if they have a connection with the coffee guy down the street, that's going to help them, decrease the likelihood of Alzheimer's and dementia.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Just blows my mind. So it's all those little things. And to add to that, it's so important. You can't lie to yourself. So if you're going to say you're going to do it, you need to stay disciplined to yourself. And a lot of people stay disciplined to us as their coaches. And I'll say, well, did you do the shopping and did you get the meal preps ready? Oh, no, I didn't do that part. But they came and they showed up at the gym. They did all the other elements that I asked them to do that week. But it's what you're doing when we're not looking.
Yeah.
So what you're doing consistently, showing up for yourself, makes all the difference. And I think we forget that a lot of the time. We're like, well, no one's noticing, so I can have a cheeky couple beers after work. It's not going to be a big deal. But if you've promised yourself that you're not drinking for the month, and if you've promised yourself that you're going to move throughout the entire month of November, do a 3K walk, and you didn't show up for that, that's where things start to go into a landslide.
I remember doing 75 hard, and
Yes.
you've got the app where you check things off,
Yeah.
but nobody would know
Yeah.
if you did or you didn't.
Yeah. 75 hard's a
But-
great example.
I knew, and when I did the second part of it, day 6,
Yeah.
I missed something simple. I can't remember what it was. It was the simplest thing, and I had to go, and nobody would have had a clue.
Yes.
It was something like I didn't quite drink enough water or something like that. It was a basic thing.
Yep.
Where I was so close but not quite there.
Yeah.
And I could have just kept going, ticked it off,
Yep.
but I knew. And that's the difference. Exactly what you're talking about now.
And so did you chug the 2 liters of water at the end at the end of the day?
I got through to, I think I got to the next morning or something, and I'm like, oh no, I haven't done it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I got to start again.
Yes.
Go back.
Yeah, good
It
for
was
you.
so annoying though
Yeah.
to do that.
That's why it's 75 hard.
It is.
it's
It is.
consistency. And I think that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is
So
that
tell us a little bit now, because we got to, unfortunately, we do have to finish.
Yes.
Time's gone so fast, and I blame you for that.
Yeah, well, and you for the great questions in the awesome podcast.
Tell people a little bit about where you are, what you're getting into more and more now, because it's very exciting where you're going, who you're working with, not just who you're working with, but how you're actually really helping them in such an
Yes.
important way.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Where I really love to focus is the hardest of hard. And one of the industries I work in is the highest suicide rate. So it's with men in Australia, and that their age of 25 to 45 in blue collar industries, and that work 12-hour shifts, whether that's a night shift or a day shift, are just barely getting by and have no time for themselves. And this is where, being a wellness coach is really challenging, because if these guys, one, they have no energy when they get off shift. The last thing they want to do is come into a gym or do some movement or eat healthy, even for that matter. They just want to go home, relax, and have a beer because they've worked hard. And that's our culture. It's ingrained in us. You've done well, now reward yourself with something that's not very good for you. It's just an unfortunate way that we like to balance. It does relax us though, but so does movement. So does eating right. All of those things relax us as well. So I'm in this process of shifting a culture, actually, which is really exciting.
That's huge.
And I work in corporate wellness and in health and longevity with the entertainment and Olympic athletes. I'll get into those guys, but they're the easier ones. These guys over here, I've got gyms and facilities across Australia and New Zealand, and we work on their mindset of getting themselves really putting themselves first. And we're dealing in the new psychosocial hazard laws that have just been passed in Australia in August last year. And we work at looking at how companies can ensure that these psychosocial hazard laws don't come into play. Because now, not only are they something that a staff member can look at and say, I'm getting bullied in the workplace, I'm not getting enough breaks in the workplace, I'm getting overloaded in the workplace. The list goes on of the different mental issues or psychosocial hazards that one can claim against their employer now. There's government legislation around this, and we can now actually, beyond just putting in something into the government, we can actually go on to sue our employer for psychosocial hazards in the workplace. So now we're in this beautiful area of where we're able to do surveys, understand what these lower level and middle management are feeling, not just what the CEOs and our top tier management are feeling, and work our way back so that everybody's getting heard and that there's a sequence and there's not just an EAP line, which no one uses. If you don't know what an EAP line is, it's an emergency line that you would call if you thought you were going to commit suicide or had a true family emergency. It takes sometimes a week to get an appointment if you're lucky. Usually it's a month. And at that time, I'm in preventative health. So you've already gone past the point of no return that you are needing to reach out at that desperate state. So we're really trying to catch things early and have a process and a strategy in place that we can have people checking in on people in the workplace. And I've recently done a podcast on this, and a lot of people comment, why don't you eat or drink a cup of concrete for breakfast? That's the comments that I get on this. And I totally get it. You know, there's banter in the workplace. We've been throwing around comments all day, and we will continue to do so, Kingsley and I, after this podcast. But there is a certain breaking point that each person has that needs to be heard. And what's really interesting is these psychosocial hazards are now overtaking, and I'm not selling myself as a physio in the fitness realm, any injuries at work. So any health and safety injuries are now being surpassed by mental health injuries. And we all kind of saw that coming, but it's a very unique space to be playing in. And the other area I play in, which is the sexier one, is the entertainment industry and working with elite athletes, which I've been my whole life. So that's an easy transition for me. Working with clients on when their cycles are. So we actually have females training around their cycles for the first time ever on our Australian Olympic team. I'm working with them on grounding. So I have PEMF and infrared mats that they're going and actually grounding themselves on. We're using, as mentioned, hot and cold therapy, compression, but compression done differently, where they actually open up their lymphatic system before just slapping on a set of Normatec compression boots, where you're ensuring that your lymphatic system is primed so it actually can get rid of the toxins out of the body. So it's kind of all the 1%ers that I've done in my career previously are now being brought to the most elite level with the best technology, and we're helping them overcome strains when it comes to physical, but also mental barriers and taking themselves to a new level. So both those areas are really exciting me.
That's so cool, because I interviewed Ben, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he works in the industry around mental health in the film industry.
Yes.
And the amount of this that goes on is absolutely incredible. So what you're doing is so needed. An incredible guy. And he's really fighting an uphill battle himself to make this happen. The good thing is Gold Coast Council actually is very supportive of what he's doing.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's a phenomenal thing. So it's so good you're there doing it, because a lot of people look from the outside, or you're in the entertainment industry, or you're this or you're that. They have no idea what goes on the inside of it.
And it started for me in stunting and in film.
Yeah, right.
And that's where I saw this not happening. At all. There was no recovery on Elvis. Austin Butler would go up on stage and do 12 to 15 hours a day. Literally, you know, you've probably seen it in the Vegas scene. And then there's no recovery afterwards, goes to sleep, gets up the next day and does it all over again. And Baz Luhrmann's the same. He's just on fire every single day. And for his age, I'm telling you, he's a pinnacle of healthy aging, that guy. And such a pleasure to work with. But all of these guys had no recovery, had no release, and there was no no trailer for any massage, any chiro, and all of the things that I now have trailers for in the film industry. It is a slow turn of the tides, and we're in the entertainment industry, you know, swapping out cocaine for ice baths. And that's a common one that I say, because Andrew Huberman has brought that to the forefront. So I have no judgment now that I'm saying it. It's that's out there. It does the same thing to the brain. Whether you judge these guys or not, they're doing it. So you might as well go in with an open mind, and you might as well look at what they're going through to understand why they are. And what I just told you, well, you know, can you judge them if they need that in the morning? A cup of coffee does not keep you going for 14 hours looking like Elvis. You need more than that, you know, or dancing like Elvis, I should say. He looked like him easy, but it took him 2 years during COVID to start dancing and moving like him, and then to uphold that level of energy all day.
It's huge.
You need some different ways to do it.
Yeah, and it takes someone like you that's been in there to really understand it.
True.
Most of us aren't going to understand. We can look from the outside and go, oh yeah, But
That might be hard.
yeah, exactly. But you need someone that's in there to really understand what's going on, the mind, the body, the emotions, the pressure, all that sort of thing.
I mean, the easiest way is imagine your workplace where there's no breaks, and construction sites are similar. Every second costs thousands. So you can't go down, and no one can go down. If a crane goes down, it could be tens of thousands for that day, right? Same thing on a movie set.
Yeah, it's huge. Now, as we finish,
Yes.
I love to ask a final question.
Okay. All of them have been amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, good. I'm glad. How can people create the life they want and leave a legacy they're proud of?
Ooh, I love this final question. I believe, I think it's a two-part answer. The first one, creating a life that they want, comes back to doing what you truly love and not being afraid to go for it and having the courage to dig deep. And I say that dig deep because, we're all about working smarter, not harder. And I get that. But the people I just mentioned, all of them have worked really hard at one point to get to where they are. And I don't meet many people that have not gone through adversity to get to where they are. So I think there is that, even if you have to do it at night at 10 o'clock at night after your kids have gone to bed and stay up to midnight, and you have to do that for the next 3 to 6 months to get your Instagram page out there with the different styles of cake toppers that you really want to bring to Amazon, do it. Because you only get one life, and time is very short. As we know, it keeps going faster as we get older. So understanding that, this is your wake up call to just do it.
Yeah.
Right now, if you're listening, what I always like to say is 3 words: do it now. Have that written on the fridge for everybody to see. So you actually go out and do it now. And then the second part of leaving the legacy, that really comes into once you've done the thing. So you're doing the thing. For myself, I had to find what really made me angry. It's really interesting. I had a coach that said, if you don't understand what you're passionate about, think of something that really makes you angry and fight against that. And for me, it was child sex trafficking and getting children out of sex trafficking, and supporting a charity called Destiny Rescue, and raising money at any event that I have now to get children out. And it's once you're in that zone, that legacy starts to build itself. It's not even, you don't even need to think about it. It's there. You put your head on the pillow each night. We just hosted an event where we got 8 kids out of sex trafficking.
Wow.
And if, I do nothing else for the rest of my life, I did that event that did that thing. And that legacy will carry on, and those kids will, carry on to do great things. And it keeps me satisfied.
I love that. And I love the way you viewed it and put the perspective on that, because it's easy to go, 8 kids rescued. Yeah, that's good. But they're 8 lives, 8 people who have mother, father, probably siblings, 8 people who have a passion, who have desires, who have emotions, who have feelings, who have all of the things that we often take for granted.
Yes.
That they want, but they can't do. But you've just completely changed 8+ people, not just them, but do they have kids? How far does that go?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
In their lineage and everything. Yes.
I love the perspective you put on that.
Thank you. Thanks for painting that picture. It's like I've just got full body goosebumps. And I'm not a huge crier in public, but if I was, this is like the most emotional state, right? Like when you can really feel into that you're really proud of something that you've done. So thank you, Kingsley.
Megan, thank you so much. I love what you've given people, and just such practicality and of what to do. Like, you've been to the lowest place where getting out of bed, that in itself is quite an accomplishment.
Yes.
And you're doing some incredible stuff with people from all walks of life at the moment. thank you for coming and sharing your story and how you are living your passion. And you've created your life, your business is all around doing that and helping other people. That's what this podcast is all about. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Kingsley. Thanks for having me on. It's been a blast.
It has. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you.